Well, welcome. So glad that you could pause for a moment. We hope that you'll be refreshed by this stay-at-home sermon. We're glad that you can be a part of this. We want to continue to release these messages at 8:30 on Sunday mornings on our church's Facebook page so that you have something that you can connect to and be encouraged by during that kind of traditional Sunday morning time. So glad that you're able to be a part of this. I want to remind you that what we preach live in Common Ground on Sunday mornings is then recorded and released on Monday. So if you'll go back and listen to the more complete version of what we share today. But I'm so glad to have a chance to say a few things to connect with you. I just feel like the Lord is speaking some things in my heart about this season, and I want to share them with you and hope that they'll really hit home with you today. So today I want to take a few moments to unpack some of the thoughts about this Sunday's message. For the next 2 Sundays, we will be talking about being thankful, not as a seasonal gesture, but being thankful as a consistent, ongoing state of heart and mind. And then on Sunday, November the 22nd, my good friend Evelyn Romig will be sharing a Thanksgiving message in Common Ground. After she shares that message, we will let out a little bit early, and then we will deliver Thanksgiving meals to several families in the community. So we'll be needing people to pick up a meal and carry those to a family and deliver them, just as our gesture to people in our community, shut-ins, folks in need, other folks. So we want to thank even in advance our membership care team who will be preparing those meals to be delivered. And once again, this team is doing their part to serve others. There's a lot of chatter during this time of year, during this season, about being thankful and having an attitude of gratitude and all those kinds of statements that go on. But I hope today that we consider some things that will cut through the noise of shallow nods to the concept of being grateful, and that it will stir in us really more of a deep, abiding, perpetual spirit of authentic thankfulness for all that God has done for us. He's done so many great things for each of us, and we want to live in that spirit of thanksgiving in a new way this year. So I want to try to deepen that by some things I share today. So today for our text, let's take a look at some passages in Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read excerpts from chapters 2, 3, and 5 because there's a thread that they all share in common. I want you to hear what that thread is. Here's Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 24. So I decided, said the preacher, the writer of Ecclesiastes, that there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in your work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God, for who can eat or do anything or enjoy anything apart from Him? Chapter 3, verse 12. So I concluded that there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. And then chapter 5. Even so, I have noticed one thing, he says, at least one thing that is good. It is good for people to eat and drink and enjoy their work. So as we read these 3 passages in Ecclesiastes, what is the thing that's common about them, that's rooted in each of these passages that speaks to us about thankfulness? First of all, it's this. A thankful heart really enjoys food and drink. I didn't think in all my years of preaching that I would be talking in church about eating and drinking as being something that's spiritual, but it's very clear here. He mentions it 3 times in these few chapters, that eating and drinking is connected to things that God does for us, and we should be grateful for all of the things He does, even the simple things of giving us food and drink to enjoy. I mean, it's almost as if by mentioning it in the way that He does, because He says each time basically this, in my looking at life, in my seeing all of what goes on under the heavens, this one thing I have concluded: you should enjoy what you eat and drink, and you should learn how to enjoy your work. He's jumping up and down. See, there's a spiritual connection with the simplest things in life for those who operate from a genuine place of gratitude as their way of approaching life. Things as simple even as eating and drinking. It makes me want to go out, and I really want to do this, explore the culinary world a little more. Growing up in a small town in East Texas, it was biscuits and gravy and meatloaf and fried chicken and pot roast, and that was about it. We didn't eat, Indian food. We didn't eat Thai food. None of that sort of stuff. And so there's a part of me that I want to explore the culinary world, the spices, the flavors, the textures, the aromas, because these things are a gift from God. All these cultures that prepare food in a different way. And I want to learn to be present more, not distracted, but fully in the moment every time that I sit down to enjoy eating and drinking with people that I love. Because the advice of the wise old preacher in Ecclesiastes is this: you should eat and drink and you should enjoy it. For him, this is evidence of a thankful heart. Number two, a thankful heart enjoys their work. A person who is thankful learns how to really enjoy and find satisfaction in the job that they do. Now, I'm aware, just as you are, that there are times when it's difficult to enjoy any kind of job. We've all had bad bosses, unpleasant coworkers, we weren't getting paid enough, the benefits weren't right, there were unfair policies, we weren't getting paid enough, etc., etc., etc. But there is in this passage a very straightforward acknowledgement that learning to enjoy your work is spiritual, it's important, and it also is evidence of a thankful heart. Chapter 2 says, find satisfaction in your work. Chapter 3 said, and people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Chapter 5 says, it is good for people to eat and drink and enjoy their work. Their work that's under the sun during this short life that God has given them. When I was in high school, I had a coach that I particularly admired and got to be friends with, and have seen him off and on through the years of my adult life. His name was Coach Armstrong. Coach Armstrong was one of the people in my life that I admired because I watched him daily for 4 years, and I never saw him have like bad days. He was passionate. He was always trying to teach you something. He was always challenging you to be better. He walked up and down the halls talking to kids. I knew that he did things for kids outside of school to help them. He loved being a teacher and a coach. He was my JV basketball coach. He was the offensive line coach on the football team. And watching him daily for 4 years, I just saw a person who loved what they did and did it with passion, and because of that, they affected others. One time I remember him in class talking about this, that when he got out of the military, his first job was at a factory in the Dallas area building cars. And he said he was making good money. He said it was really good money. But he was bored out of his mind. He wasn't getting a chance to impact people. He said it drove him crazy after a while to go to work every day. So he went back to school, got his certificate, and became a teacher and a coach. And I, among many people, was blessed because that he did that. And he was like that. Listen, a price cannot be paid. We can't get paid enough to learn to be working and doing something that we can be passionate about, that we love doing. So in conclusion, I want to say this. Why take this approach? Why have perpetually beating and running through our spirits a heart that is grateful, that is thankful, that it has a sense of gratitude about everything that we do? Why would we go against the grain of even our culture and follow the advice of the old preacher in the book of Ecclesiastes? How do we need to think? How do we approach the simple things of life in a way that demonstrates that we belong to God? And because we do that, it brings joy for us in the journey. Well, one of the last things this preacher said is this: keep in mind that it all comes from God. He said this, then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God. For who can eat or drink or enjoy anything apart from Him? So I ask you this today: what has God given you? What do you know has come from His hand? And in what ways are you consistently living with a sense of gratitude in front of the people that are in your lives? In what areas do you sometimes find it hard to be grateful, that perhaps you need to work on in that area so you're grateful in all areas? Let's not let being thankful for us here at FUMC be just holiday chatter. Let's live with a continuous, unbroken sense of gratitude for all that God has done for us. So thank you for being a part of this. I hope that you'll be thankful this season and that you'll live from a place in your heart where you continually recognize God's provision in your life. We hope that you'll continue to be a part of these Stay at Home sermons. You have a great week. Be thankful, and I'll see you again next Sunday.